look back one day and wish you did enough, because so many people are missing this. But there are 3 specific things you should be teaching your kids and your team to help give them a huge competitive advantage. Why wasn't this in the manual?
Don't worry, L3 friends. We're talking today about 3 specific things you can do starting today in your own life and in the lives of the people that you lead for greater success and abundance. Here we go. Okay, Aly, I want to talk about the first thing because that's important, which is that we are all worthy of greatness and love. But I want to talk about the story behind that. So, you know Sophie, who's on our team at our company, Legacy Cheer and Dance. We have the best story about her, guys. We have to tell you about this story about Sophie because she's amazing.
Well, more
She's a
importantly,
big victory story.
Everybody's going to get to meet Sophie when we start traveling at the beginning of the year. So yes, you'll actually get to meet Sophie if you don't know her yet. But Sophie came to us as an ambassador, which is basically our volunteer program. And she came to us, I'll never forget, she came to us in London at an event. She was about 15 years old, super darling, super shy, loved the sport, wanted to learn behind the scenes at Legacy, she was just a hard worker, but she was so green and so precious and so
we terrified
vulnerable.
her. Like that's all it is. We were very nice, but the overwhelm of a large event and being present in such a large space and where everything runs to time and logistics are a big deal and keeping customers and clients and athletes and parents happy when they're nervous and all of the emotion that went with that was overwhelming to her. And to be fair, it's overwhelming to most people when you walk in the door, but especially when you're 15. I think she's about 15 no, she's probably 16, but whatever. She came in as an ambassador and we overwhelmed her.
Either way,
bottom line.
Well, we didn't, but the event did, the logistics and the demand of it. So, but I think it was to watch how Sophie went from this for day one. I'm pretty sure she was crying. I think I need to ask her this story, but she was overwhelmed.
We were worried for her. I remember that.
We were worried for her. We did not know if she was going to make it through the weekend in the ambassador program. And it was such a neat experience because Sophie was the epitome of why we do what we do. It touched every part of us, that she was there and she was scared and all of those things. But most importantly, you and I, just maternally, not just as founders of the company, but just maternally, looked at Sophie and went, this is why we're doing what we are doing, to build leaders for life. And to know so much in our hearts that we already loved this girl and we barely had just met her. We just, our hearts were exploding for her. And again, it was the example of she, more than anything in that moment, needed to know she was worthy of greatness and love. That is at the core ethos of our Legacy way, to know that you are worthy of greatness and love and to be able to share that. For Sophie to know that, was to say it to her was one thing, but for to learn it and to understand it and embody it was a whole different component. And that
but here's what that looked like in reality. So you and I had this kind of understanding with each other that we were concerned for her and we wanted to wrap our arms around her, but we couldn't just fix it for her. It was, how do we put some pieces, and this is what it looks like in real life and action steps. How do we create a support network? We had her partnered with people who could also set her up for success. There were mentor roles all around her. Every time we saw her, we would give her positive feedback, but also be truthful to her, because equipping her for success meant both types of feedback and helping her take in both types of feedback so that she could understand and develop. And that's exactly what she did, because over time, she became not just a great at being an ambassador, but then she elevated, right? She became a great staff member, and then she became a great team leader. And now she's one of our senior event managers and literally has created her entire career running massive events, not just with us, but as her day job, because all of the people that are with us on an event weekend typically are independent contractors. They come to us over the week and then they go back in their real jobs. So Sophie came in and created an entire career out of something she was terrified about because she knew she was worthy of greatness and success. And I feel so privileged to be able to have watched her do this, because we knew she had it in her, but it was really fun to watch it happen.
For sure. And the gift of being able to share and give people that safe space and understanding that you are worthy of greatness and that you are worthy of that love, independent of knowing all the answers. Like, none of us know all the answers. We're all trying to figure this stuff out, right?
Yeah.
But that's not what warrants why you are worthy of greatness and love. And it's one of the key components you must teach to the people you are leading, whether you are a parent, a founder, an entrepreneur, a coach, a teacher, whatever your leadership role is. To the extent that you can do that is the extent that you are building self-respect for everyone, that you are building confidence for everyone. That is the greatest foundation to build things like accountability and innovation and the coolest stuff that lies ahead, so that we can all become exactly who we are intended to be.
That's a perfect segue, Aly, into the gift of accountability. That's our second topic today. The gift of accountability feels sometimes like it's maybe not a gift, but it's truly a gift of love. And okay, this is the story I have that's behind this. Do you remember when we were growing up, and if you're in the L3 community, 6 kids in the family, mom was running the tight ship, right? So we were growing up and mom had index cards. Do you remember this? Mom had the index cards that had all of the household tasks.
I am traumatized from the index cards. How can we not? How do we not remember the index cards?
Yeah, but they worked.
They worked.
Okay, so everybody, Mom, and I'm going to laugh.
We're so organized. Thanks, Mom.
Yes. Let us know in the comments if you had the index card system at your house, because I'm pretty sure this
There's
was a
no
thing.
way. There is no.
There was a thing in a magazine. There was a thing in a magazine that had this. So I think she took this. She didn't make the system up. I think she learned it. We'll ask her and we'll come back to you in another episode. But anyways, Mom had colored index cards and they all had different labels on them. And every Saturday or whatever it was, each of the children would get a task. She'd hand out index cards and we'd all get a task to, clean the bathroom, or do the laundry or fold the socks or whatever the task was that had to get done. And speaking of accountability, the one card, you would think the card I didn't want is clean the bathroom, which was right up there. But the one card that I didn't want was the pink card, because the pink card said, sweep the kitchen floor. And that okay, fine, sweep the kitchen floor. It's not that bad. It's not, clean the bathrooms are worse, but not for me, because I'm legally blind. If you have not seen the podcast yet, I am legally blind. And my mom was giving me a pink index card and she told me that I had to clean visible dirt off the kitchen floor. And I didn't like that. Come on, Mom. But here's the thing. I would take the broom, I would sweep in a pattern, kind of left to right.
And hope that you got it.
Top to bottom, and hope that I got it.
Seriously,
I would be grumpy. Like the whole time I was grumpy. You know how you can tell by listening to the broom sweeps if you're sweeping nicely or grumpy? The more pressure. That's me sweeping. I was so mad. Because why? My mom was making her blind child do this. I couldn't believe it. So,
the audacity.
Awful. Anyways, thanks, Mom. One day I would do this, but then one day, I was maybe about 4th grade or so. I remember this like yesterday. I was in about 4th grade and I was upstairs after I had done my pink card chores. And I heard the swoosh, 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 swoosh of the broom downstairs of the kitchen that I had just swept. And at first I was mad because I went, well, why did she make me sweep the floor? She's just going to do it in the first place. That was the initial knee-jerk response. But obviously, Mom was giving me the gift of accountability. And it was all about letting me learn, letting me fail. She obviously needed to keep the kitchen floor clean, so that's why she was doing it, but she protected my dignity doing it when I didn't know, so that it was a safe environment for me to fail and try again. And so then I'm sure I got more instruction. Hey, you missed this last time, do it better the next time. And so she created this environment, which is so important as a parent or as a team leader or as a, a coach or a teacher or any person who is leading others. She created an environment where it was safe to fail so that she had the authority to hold me accountable for learning the task, even if it took me a bunch of times to fail and learn to get up and do it again. That is a gift. It took way more effort for her to make me sweep the floor, listen to me grumpy, and then sweep it herself than it would have to just do it herself in the first place. But because she's a great mom and because she knew I needed those tools as an independent adult, she took the hard way, taught me the accountability, gave me the boundaries, set the expectations because she knew I could rise to them. And to be fair, I'm an adult now and I'm still not good at sweeping the floor, but I'm all right. Like I can still do it. And I just run the Roomba vacuum now because technology. But she gave me a safe place to figure life out. And she did that in so many ways and so many other life lessons that transfers. That's how we were able to let Sophie learn in safe ways. And that's how we're able to let all of our staff learn in safe ways and help them pick them up and learn and mentor them along the way for their successes because we learned that at home. And that's really important. That's what I think.
I think it was such a beautiful gift. And I want everybody to understand that that's a gift you can give to yourself as well. It is a gift
Mm-hmm.
you can say in any moment of your life, but especially in challenging moments where you can kind of just hold up that mirror and go, I wonder what I could have done different here. I wonder, did I hydrate enough to prepare for this? Did I study enough? Did I, did I do everything I needed to do to show up the way that I wanted to show up? And the gift that mom gave you in that moment shows up for you all the time. It shows up for you in your confidence now because you learned the most important thing, and that was you learned that you can learn.
Yeah.
And when we all learn that we can learn, then there is a wonderful opportunity to make decisions and go and faithfully try things and get outside of our comfort zone, because we know that if we go forward and it's in full alignment with our values and where we want to be, if we make a decision and go forward, we're either going to be super successful and it's going to be exactly what you want, but a lot of times it's not. We fall short. We tried something, it didn't quite work out. And at the end of the day, we either won in that decision or we learned instead of lost.
If we
So
choose to learn, you're right. If we
if we
choose to learn.
choose to learn, but that's my point. Like the gift you
Right.
had of that accountability, you learned that you could learn. So there was never a way where you could have not done a great job sweeping the floor or whatever the task was. There was never going to be a moment where you did it less than perfectly and got to a point and said, oh, I failed. I'll never be able to sweep a floor. And then you give up. You had enough accountability there to allow yourself the grace of not being perfect at it. It's one of the legacy ethos, legacy ways, that's being perfectly imperfect, because that's the space where you can grow. So with accountability also comes opportunity to learn and grow. And the two go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. Hey, if you love this episode of the L3 podcast, share it with your friends. And don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube or wherever you watch your podcasts.
Okay, let's move on to number 3, which is embracing change. The world right now gets really mad at change, no matter what it is or whose opinion
Well, it's
it is.
hard for all of
Change is
time.
hard.
Change has been
Yes.
hard for all of humanity. Let's just
Yeah.
be real. None of us have a crystal ball. That's a scary thing. Humans both
Well, there's
require
unknown. I mean, the
certainty and
unknown,
uncertainty.
because you feel stress when there's unknown, you feel stress. And then the anger can come out as a response to that stress. So the world is feeling stressful right now because there are a lot of unknowns, and therefore anything that changes a little bit is hard, and it can be micro or macro, but it's change anyway. Do you
But
remember
what's great
when?
about change, Andrea, is that beyond that change, and this is why this skill is so important to teach, and it's why it's so important to give you a competitive advantage, is just beyond the change that you're scared to death about is the coolest innovation, is the coolest growth. It's the coolest next step down
Oh,
the
a new
road.
opportunity or a new chapter
Yeah.
or a new perspective or new relationships and new people, and all of these things come as a result of transitioning
Embracing
through
change.
change, even though it's difficult. And so really the conversation should be about how we embrace change. And do you kind of let it give you the stiff hug like this and kind of don't hug back? Or do you do the full two arm, like the two arm hug, I'm in it to win it. And I'm going to stay here for a minute until my body can relax. When you give the hugs for a long, I don't know the science number, but you give hugs for a certain number of seconds until your body can chemically relax with uh, the how are you going to sit in change? What stories are you telling yourself during change? And how are you going to embrace that change so that you can get to the other side of that change to where it opens all those new things that you were talking about? One of the stories that comes to mind when we talk about change is the triple arena. Do you know what I'm talking about? When we have the triple arena at our events. So,
Yes. I mean, that really was just kind of a natural part of the growth of our business because when we came to Legacy, I mean, there were only 33 teams at our first event. We had one
yeah,
floor,
back up.
everybody
So,
came to
because if
compete, and
this is
that
the
was
first time listening to if this is the first time hearing our podcast, Aly and I live in Texas and we own a cheerleading competition company in the United Kingdom. So we started with 33 teams in our first competition. I don't know how we even had a competition because it was this big. We grew, and most cheerleading competitions have one competition floor or one arena. And for every arena, you also have warm-up floors or warm-up space. So logistically, we used to run one competition floor and one warm-up area. But then when we grew, we thought, well, why don't we just do two arenas at the same time? Because we already have the building, everyone wants to come to it. We already have the staff there. Let's just put two floors. So we need now two competition floors and two warm-up areas, which we did back to back in the same arena bowl. So imagine like an arena with an ice hockey thing in the middle or a basketball stadium. Well, we just split it in half and we put warm up in the middle and we put one competition floor at one side and the other competition floor on the other side and ran two competitions back to back, side by side, so that we could accommodate all the teams that wanted to come to this event, which in itself we were pretty proud of that because that was a hard logistic challenge. But then we kept growing and we went, okay, now there's some real change happening. And what are we going to do about that? And we
well,
thought, well,
and
oh, that's fine. Just get the building next door and do three arenas.
that's what we did. I mean, that the
Mm-hmm.
the triple arena had never been done. And so when Legacy came out and we had three arenas literally within one building, and we're adding entire buildings to accommodate the growth of the sport and the growth of what Legacy was doing and the impact that we could make and the experience
Yeah.
that everyone could have, it was super, super cool. Also super, super scary. Nobody had ever seen it. It changed a lot of the logistics and where traffic flow was going to go and all of these things. And
Then we had
so
to do a lot of education for everyone because we had to send out maps and talk to the parents and the athletes and the coaches of what to expect, because we run like a machine. So we run a cheerleading routine every 4 minutes. Well, each routine is 2.5 minutes. So it doesn't give you much time to put a team on the floor, clap, 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 do the routine, clap, 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 get off the floor and bring the next team on. We run like a machine to cycle teams through this process. So if we messed up one thing, everything could have crashed. I'm not gonna lie, I was super nervous, but so I was navigating the change. At the same time, we were telling everyone else, be calm, navigate the change. It worked great. And it worked, and it still works. And I think we're the only company in the UK that does that, or in Europe that does three arenas, and we do it twice a year. So it's become part of our logistics. So that what was change and scary, and everyone kind of, they came in on day one of this experience, and everybody's body language was tense. People were more gruff with security. People were where do I go? Where do I go? They kind of had that panic face. Well, by the time day 2 went, people were calm because they kind of had understood, okay, the change works and this is great. And all day on the second day that we ran the 3 arenas for the first time, people kept coming up to me, and probably you as well. And they were saying, oh my gosh, I thought this was going to be a train wreck and it works. And they were so delighted and joyful and happy. And my parents just can watch all they want, and it's great. And everybody was happy because they navigated this change. And I'm sitting there thank you. Whoo, it did it. It worked. We got it.
Andrea, it did work, and we did have so many happy people. But here's what I want to say about that. And this is true whether you run giant live events like that or you're just trying anything new. You're going to have,
You're just trying something new for dinner.
Right. But you might have 99.9% of the feedback come in and go, yes, that was amazing. The one you remember is the 0.01 that goes, oh, I did not like that. And,
oh, yeah.
And that was a big part of us learning to embrace the change as much as it was the customer experience and the athlete experience, because you could have just the most amazing moment and the most innovative thing and go, yes, that was awesome. And then one little thing is going, it's just going to gnaw at you. And so part of the skill of learning to embrace change also includes, number one, accepting that not everyone is going to be on board with that change. And that's okay, because change is hard. Number two, when you do get that little piece of feedback or the big piece of feedback or the anonymous comment or the thing, whatever it is, don't let that beat you down. Use that as your tool to be able to say, okay, we stepped out there, we issued and made the change in the name of creating something great. If it wasn't perfect, another skill I have is I can hold up a mirror and look to see, okay, what could I have done different? Maybe there is some validity to whatever it was that they didn't like. How do we use that to make it better for the next time? And we actually did do that, because we did have a couple of comments amongst, and that change.
We always have that. But here's the thing, because people are going to people, and the internet is going to internet. So people are going to say a lot of things. Some of it's accurate, some of it's not. And so we have a kind of a built-in filter that we need to put those things through and say, is this valid feedback? And do I need to change some of my own behaviors? And so if you're talking about change in general, and I'm not talking anymore about the 3 arenas, I'm talking about change in general in our own lives and in the lives of the people that we're leading. So for a parent or a teacher or a coach or a manager in an office, when change doesn't go the way we want it, can we hold ourselves accountable first? Because we're giving ourselves the gift of accountability. We're giving our team the gift of accountability. So all of these things that we're talking about today go together, because are we giving ourselves that accountability? And also, are we passing that on to others? Are we allowing our own accountability and our ability to look in the mirror to make actionable change going forward so that the change becomes better? That's a skill, again, that can be practiced. That's what we want our whole community to look at today.
Yes. And you and I have the favorite tool that you and I use, that we've taught in all of our mentorship programs and from stages, and just personally we use ourselves, both in our relationships and within our company, is our keep, tweak, delete rule. So let's talk about that.
Yep. So keep, tweak, delete is something that Aly and I employ every day in our personal lives and in our professional lives, all the time, as just a natural habit, but it's a purposeful discussion. So we literally will say, hey, what do we need to keep, tweak, delete in this? Let's say we're going to review for work. We're going to review an event. What worked about the event? What do we need to shift gears on? And you know that by looking in your own mirror and also looking into the feedback from others. And then also, what are we going to delete? What's no longer serving the mission? Those are quick and easy questions you can assess.
And you generally know the answer, even when you're not willing to say it out loud. It's especially true in relationships, when you are looking at the relationships around you, and you understand that it is so important to be intentional about the relationships and everyone that is supporting and holding you accountable in your own mission for your own legacy. That is, how is this relationship working, and what things are great that we can keep? What things do we need to just finely tune and adjust? And what's my role in that? And how can I actually make that into a verb and action? And what do I fully need to delete? And sometimes it turns into who do I need to fully delete? Nonetheless,
Just
you,
remove from your life is what she
it's a
means,
skill.
people, just
It's
for
a skill.
clarification.
It's a skill, but it's part of embracing the change because it's a tool you can use when things aren't certain. And it helps kind of put things on a level playing field when, again, here are the three skills. Like I'm going to say it 3 times over and over again because so many people are missing this in their own lives and what they're teaching amongst their teams and their families, that it becomes a massive competitive advantage if you see the 3 things that we're talking about today as a skill. And when you do it as a skill, that means it can be improved upon and practiced. So
Yeah.
again, I'm just going to say the foundation is that you are so worthy of greatness and love. It is not predicated upon anything that you do. You are or anything that we say for that matter. You are just born there, ready, already worthy of that success and greatness and love.
The second one is the gift of accountability. And when I say gift of accountability, emphasis on gift, because
Yes.
it is a gift to give it to others, to hold others accountable, and it is a gift to hold yourself accountable. So for sure, the perspective with accountability is I don't love hold accountable as much as I love give the gift of accountability.
And lastly, embracing change. I think that is one that is probably hardest for all of humanity as a blanket statement, but also one of the ones that creates the most opportunity and most advantage. If we can really practice embracing change and seeing the opportunity that comes with it, as long as we're willing to leap forward faithfully and understand there's something really cool beyond that. And what a gift that can be as well. Think about your role as a leader. What is the specific role that you are playing right now as a parent, as a teacher, as a coach, as a friend, as a spouse? Where is it that you are leading that you haven't been very clearly identifying yet with necessarily? You might, but where is it that you are leading that you can both deploy these 3 skills for yourself and also be teaching it, modeling it, embodying it, and making it turn into real life everyday actions?
Yeah. So the challenge for our L3 community this week is all about finding the ways that make sense in your role of leadership for knowing that you're worthy of greatness and love, knowing that you can give yourself and the people that you lead the gift of accountability, and knowing that you can embrace change. I want to know what that looks like in your lives. How are
Ooh, I
you
can't wait
applying
to
what we
see
talked
this.
about today? I want to see the comment section. I want to see
Yes.
what does that look like in your life, because this is life-changing stuff. And that's what I want to see. So I know our L3 community is going to step up. We're going to have great conversations. Thanks for joining us today on the L3 podcast. We'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us today on the Lead, Love, Legacy podcast.
Remember, lead boldly, love deeply, and live your legacy.
If this episode encouraged you, like and subscribe and share it with someone who needs it.
And join us next time as we continue to build leaders and legacies for life.